for the Sugar Show.
Let's go!
Indeed. Where are my guys? There's the guys. And I am proclaiming now, tonight, officially, the McGregor era is over. We are now in the Sugar Show. It's sugar time. Sugar Sean O'Malley pulling off a massive upset. He's got everybody near 135 pounds calling him out at this point. New champion. Everybody wants a piece. Did massive numbers for everybody involved. UFC, press, everything. Sean O'Malley is the guy. Sean O'Malley is the new star. So I want to start the show tonight before everything and proclaim this, the Sugar Show. We are now in the Sean O'Malley era. Welcome. Fred?
Nice
thoughts?
intro, homie, man.
Good for him, man. Is he going to defend the title more than McGregor? Look, I'll show you. I'm not a hater. I'll say he'll probably defend the title more often than McGregor did.
Yes. Or, I mean, at least once. Conor never defended a UFC championship. He won two.
Successfully.
Yeah. Well, he attempted to defend.
And he lost.
Was that a defense against Khabib?
I'm not sure. Actually.
Wasn't Khabib the champion at that point, or did McGregor give it up?
Yeah, probably, because he was out for a while. We would have to go back and check.
Yeah.
Good for O'Malley, man. I'm happy for him, man. I didn't think he would win. I'm happy he did. Look, man, I'm not going to be a hater. Props to him, man. He earned it. He worked hard, knocked out the champion. You can't take anything away from him. I just don't want to see him fight Chito Vera, man. Anybody else but Chito Vera, man. Give me a rematch with Aljamain. Give me Sanhagen. Give me anybody but Chito Vera.
I just checked up on it, Fred, just so we know. Conor McGregor was not champion when he fought Khabib. Khabib was the champion. Conor
he's never defended a belt.
No, he never even attempted to defend a belt. He beat Aldo, won the 145-pound title. His next fight was against Nate Diaz at 170 pounds that he lost. Then he fought Nate Diaz at, I think, 155. The next time, he won that one. Then he fought for the 155 title against Eddie Alvarez, beat him for that belt. Then fought Floyd Mayweather. This was in November 2016. He didn't come back to MMA until October 2018. By that time, he'd been stripped due to inactivity, and he lost to Khabib. And so Conor McGregor never defended a belt, but a lot of guys want to fight Sean O'Malley, and I think he's going to wind up defending the belt, whether or not it's successful. You know, we'll see. We'll see who he fights. But everybody wants a shot at Sean O'Malley. Fred doesn't want to see a Marlon Vera. I don't know if I necessarily want to see the Marlon Vera fight right now. Aljamain Sterling says he wants a rematch.
I mean, give it to him. I mean, he was the champ. He deserves it. But let's be honest, man. You know, he's going to have a hard time because O'Malley was able to stuff anything that Sterling wanted to do. And that's where it came down to. And we said that last week. If O'Malley is able to stuff any type of takedown and keep it standing, statistics show, man, the guy pulled out 71% of his shots were significant strikes, man. 71%. You got like Sterling that was only at, what was he at? 48%. That shows you can't stand with O'Malley. And a lot of haters out there prior, like, this guy, he's just like, Dana White's shoo, and he's going there. No, the guy's proven himself. The guy's 17-1 for a reason. In this fight against Sterling, man, he showed who's the better fighter. And we saw it, man. We were freaking out. And to be honest, a lot of haters out there, a lot of people didn't think he was going to win. A lot of bookies and pro athletes and whatnot were going against O'Malley. Ringside Report, we went with O'Malley. I saw the potential. The momentum was on his side, and that's what made him win. And I said it to Dave, Freddie. I said momentum is what's going to make this guy win. It's just too strong, man. He came out, he performed, and he performed wonderfully, man. He really put on a sugar show. That's why he's the new king. Is he at the same level as Conor? Not yet, dude. Even though he's champion, he's still not, like Conor is still Conor, man. If Conor wants to step into an octagon or anywhere, people are gonna come and watch. But Sugar is right there. He's young. There's a lot of potential in this guy. He's got to defend his next challenger, being it Sterling or anybody else, handing it. I don't care who it is. And if he wins the way he won last week, man, this guy is on his way to doing great things. And like I said, he's made a lot of money prior to Saturday's fight, man, with that show win and all. This guy he just has the package, man. He's got the package. And you know what?
He's got the package?
He's got the package, man.
Does he, though?
He's got that package, man. I'm
There
telling
is
you, man.
question to that package. I don't know. There's already questions about his package from a potential challenger. Henry Cejudo's gone real far on Sean O'Malley.
What did he say?
Here is a tweet from Henry Cejudo, who really wants to fight Sean O'Malley, I guess. He says, hey, Ronald Meth Donald, a.k.a. Trans Barbie. So I guess he thinks Sean O'Malley is trans? Sugar Sean MMA, congrats on landing a punch. Get ready to go down faster than Logan Paul's fiance in the bathroom of the ESPYs.
What?
Sign the contract, Island Boy. I mean, there is a lot there. At Dana White, pen
Island
emoji,
Boy.
contract emoji.
Wow. Take it easy, Cejudo. You didn't do that great in your last fight, so don't start pulling this shit. I mean, like...
That's wild.
I'll be honest, man. Cejudo's going to have a rough night if he goes up against O'Malley. It's going to be a rough night. So, sure he wants to, but he's pulling out like he's doing the Dylan Dennis shit. He's going along the same lines as Dylan Dennis, which actually Dylan Dennis put out some pretty interesting stuff this week. The guy's a genius, man. But, look, good luck, man. Cejudo, fight someone else. It's going to be – I know he wants some money, for sure, but – he doesn't have the hands of O'Malley. He just doesn't have it, man.
So that's not the guy you want to see. Fred doesn't want to see Marlon Vera. AJ doesn't want to see Henry Cejudo.
Mirab.
Who is it then? Is it Aljamain
Merab.
Sterling in a rematch, or is it Merab Dvalishvili? Fred, you think it's Merab?
It should be Mirab because, I mean, he was dominant against Sterling, so I don't think it warrants an immediate rematch. I'd like to see Mirab get the title shot.
He does seem
But a
like
champion,
a guy who, you know, he's a top challenger. He's been beating pretty much everybody. But
don't you find listen, it's hard because when you're a champion, you deserve a rematch. No matter how bad you performed, you were the title holder. You should have the first call. And I think it would be interesting, and it would show like how dominant O'Malley is if they fight the second time. But we've seen fights happen 2 times, 3 times, and things have gone sour sometimes, right?
I mean, it was a
I'm just
knockout,
saying-
man. It's
Yeah, it
pretty
was a nasty
decisive.
knockout.
yeah,
100%.
I don't need to see it again.
I don't know if I need to see it again, but those guys, Merab and Aljamain, are teammates. And the only thing stopping Merab from getting a title shot before was Aljamain being the champion. So you could say, well, now Merab has a shot. He should get the shot. But he may just say, well, I don't want the fight. This is Aljamain's fight. Give him the rematch. That's what the team wants. So I'm not really sure where it stands or who's going to get the fight. But those are options right now. You've got Aljamain Sterling in a rematch. You've got Merab Dvalishvili, who's on a tear. You've got Henry Cejudo, who's a big name in the division, who talks a lot of trash.
Oh, yeah.
And who else? Oh, you got Marlon Vera, who picked up a win. Sanhagen, too. Sanhagen's another guy, but he's not coming out talking a lot. Like, there's been a lot of Twitter talk. There's been a lot of Sean O'Malley going back and forth with people, but he really hasn't gone back and forth with Sanhagen because I think he just doesn't talk that much trash. But like a lot of guys, Alexander Pantoja talking about moving up from 125 to fight at 135. Like, there are a lot of options right now, and I think it's less, tons of challengers out there and people wanting the title shot, and more people seeing Sean O'Malley and thinking this guy is a money fight. This guy is a big name right now. This is a money fight for my career right now. This is the big fight in my division. This could be the big fight of my life. So I think a lot of guys are calling him out right now because they see the power of Sean O'Malley. They see the star power, they see the potential, and they want to get on that train. It's a big money fight.
Thanks.
A lot of options. A lot of options, guys.
Yeah.
Merab, I think, is a good option. I think Aljamain is not a bad option either.
I think Aljamain will probably, like, I would like to see Merab because I think that's the hardest challenge as far as a fight for O'Malley. But if you're in the end, the UFC is going to pick whatever makes the most money. And Aljamain Sterling, I think, is a bigger draw than Merab. So I would put him probably having a bigger chance of getting that rematch. And Marlon Vera, like, also, he has a good shot because there's some history there. The UFC is going to be about whoever they could sell the best, and those are probably the two fights that are the easiest to sell.
I think the Cejudo fight would make probably the most noise. I mean, with Cejudo just starting, it would, because you got Cejudo. People know
Cejudo got
Cejudo.
Cejudo got beaten pretty easily by Aljamain, and Vera just won, and Vera's got a lot of fans. I think Vera is the money fight right now. I think that's also the fight that the UFC is going to pursue. I think that's what they're going to do next. They're going to do Vera. It's not the fight I would do, but I think that's what they're going to do because they want to keep this O'Malley train going, and if he beats... What are you gesturing over there, AJ? I don't know what's happening. AJ's like getting all excited over there.
I promised myself I wouldn't come out with like all guns blaring, like with my 5-fight parlay win, and Dave Simon as well. I said I was going to hold back because I was waiting for Dave to throw out the balloons and the confetti and whatnot because some people made some good money last Saturday. That's all I'm saying. But thanks, Pat. I appreciate it. 10 minutes in, man. It was too long. I
lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was talking about now.
You're talking about the Aljamain Sterling and all that kind of stuff. Who cares, man?
What?
Put Cejudo there.
Acknowledge me. Acknowledge me. What are you talking about? All my picks were good too. Everything I did won. My 3-fight parlay on the prelim parlay that came through. I also picked Sean O'Malley to win, bet money on him, made money. I actually made money off my picks. AJ just bets his picks. Patrick C. Hamilton in the chat, member for 32 straight months. Thank you, Patrick, over at join.ringsidereport.net, join.ringsidereport.net. Become a member for life. Support the channel like Patrick out in Regina, Saskatchewan. He says 10 minutes into the show and AJ hasn't shared his great fight picks. Hope he made some scratch. I hope you made some scratch, Patrick. I definitely did. I know AJ didn't because he just talks and never actually bets his picks because he doesn't really believe in himself. Believe in yourself, AJ. Sometimes dreams come true.
That's what Epstein said. But listen, I'm going to tell you something. Listen, I'm going to tell you something.
What does that even mean?
My 5-fight
I'm not going to let you...
Man.
No, explain what the hell you're talking about. No, I'm not letting that one go.
He created an island. He thought he was going to get away with shit. And like, dreams today, man. I said, forget it.
Believe in yourself and all your dreams will come true. That's what Epstein said. That was awful. That didn't even make sense.
That's for you it didn't, but it's fine. Forget
Fred?
it. Ruin the joke, Dave.
Ruin the joke. There is no joke. If there was a joke, I would laugh. I'm not ruining anything. I just, once in a while, you say things like that, and most of the time, Fred, we let him just kind of go on, right? But that one, I was like, nah, we're going to stop right there. Explain yourself. What the hell was that?
What a joke. Cock blockers. Right there. Dave Simon. Anyways, go back to my 5-fight parlay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, because it's so important. Thank you, Patrick, for bringing it up.
This is the gloating section of the show where AJ just gloats about all his wins.
Listen, $20 would have got you $206 if you went with AJ.
$260, I think.
Bet99.
It was more.
Was it $260 or $206?
I think so, yeah.
$260.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, it was in the $200 range, which was a great payout, man. Like, honestly, that was a great payout. I was really confident in my picks. I really thought, like, O'Malley was... Dave.
You're confident every time you make picks. Watch, you're going to give a 5-fight parlay this weekend. It will not hit, and you will tell us how confident you are in your picks.
I hope it does, because then I'm not going to wait 10 minutes. I'm going to wait 10 seconds into that show, man.
And it's going to take all week,
man. Listen, man, all to say is this. Most important thing is that we got it right. And most shows, which I listen to a lot of people out there and a lot of those bookies and whatnot, got it all wrong, including some of our local pro fighters, international fighters, went against O'Malley. They really went against O'Malley.
You okay?
And yeah, I was trying to, I had one of those, moments. I don't know if it was a burp.
Yeah,
A
nobody was
hiccup?
picking O'Malley. Nobody was picking O'Malley.
Nobody. Man.
Nobody. And even Dana White, after the fight at the press conference, he's like, we had a main event. Nobody picked him. And he's like, show of hands here. Who picked O'Malley in the main event? And he's like, one guy? Two guys? Okay. And they're like, how many people do we have in here? They're like 50. He's like, 50 media members here. Two guys picked O'Malley. Nobody thought that this was going to happen. Huge shocker. And I'm like, whoa. There was two guys. 2 out of the 3 guys on Ringside Report MMA picked O'Malley here, Uncle Dana. I mean, acknowledge us. We picked O'Malley. And I was saying it, man. I just had a feeling. You got to trust your gut sometimes. I was like, man, there's something about O'Malley. This is just his time. And the short turnaround was not good for Aljamain Sterling. And I was talking about that over and over again. I said, short turnaround. You fight in May. You're going to turn around and fight in August in Boston. O'Malley's been waiting a year for this fight. I don't like this setup for Aljamain Sterling. And what did Aljamain say after the fight? Short turnaround. Wasn't good. They kind of not everything was able to work out for him in this camp because he didn't have a lot of time to prepare. You got to think about it. You're preparing for Henry Cejudo in May. Wrestling. You turn around, you have 3 months to prepare for one of the most dangerous strikers at 135 pounds in Sean O'Malley. It's a different set of skills. It's a different game plan. It's a different fight altogether. And Aljamain had to turn around and do that in 3 months. I'm not saying Sean O'Malley wouldn't beat Aljamain Sterling given 6 months to a year to prepare for him. I think Sean O'Malley probably would beat him again. But I think because of those reasons and because I think it was a bit of a setup for Aljamain to lose, I think he should get a rematch out of respect because it was a little shady. It was a little shady by the UFC. I didn't like the way they did Aljamain Sterling. It felt like they were setting him up and they were trying to set up their boy O'Malley to be the guy. A little bit is that Maybe. Is what happened a little bit. Come on. What champion fights 3 months after? In hostile territory. You know what I mean? You got O'Malley in Boston. You know, it's not Adesanya does it a lot, but that's him. He wants it. Aljamain, when this fight got announced, Aljamain was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. 3 months is not a lot of time. And then they kind of put the pressure on him.
I agree with what you're saying. But if I'm going to be critical of Sterling a little bit, he was already talking about going up in weight, defending the title. Maybe he wasn't focused enough on the challenge in front of him. Maybe he didn't respect O'Malley enough himself. And I mean, you could have all the confidence in the world. You got to respect that opponent in front of you and be ready for him. So if anything, maybe Sterling could have had a better preparation for this fight. And yeah, maybe with more time he does. So
yeah, but
I'm not against the rematch.
He was in great shape. There's no excuse, man.
Hold on, let Fred finish.
I don't think there's. I'm not against the rematch, but I think I'd like it. There was nothing controversial. You know, the fight was clearly won by O'Malley, so I'd like to see him fight somebody else. Automatic rematches are more for fights that are close or that a champion was so dominating for so many years. I mean, Sterling was a good champion, but he wasn't I wouldn't consider him super dominating in his run. So I'd prefer to see somebody else. Marlon Vera probably will get it because that's the one they could sell.
Yeah, because O'Malley lost to him. It's the only loss in O'Malley's pro career. So getting that win back would be big for O'Malley and his brand as a UFC champion. Good for the UFC, right? Getting that win back is good for the UFC because what's good for O'Malley is good for the UFC right now. He's the new guy.
True.
He's the new star.
Yep.
He's the new
flavor,
star champion of the UFC. They look at this guy and they know he's 28 years old. He's about to be a big star for that company for the next at least 4 to 5 years, which is a long time. You know?
Depending how he
has to be successful. Yeah, he has to be successful.
Yeah. But, it's not like it's an easy division to stay on top of. But I think the UFC is going to make it favorable for him. I mean, they're going to give him tough matchups. Well, let's be honest. The UFC is going to make it favorable for him until it's too expensive to make it favorable for him, and then they get rid of him and switch him up. You know what I mean? Like, the UFC is going to do what the UFC does. The UFC is going to give him strikers that aren't as good as him, and then eventually they'll give him somebody who's like a Dagestani wrestling killer. Like Umar Nurmagomedov eventually will get the shot, just not yet. Like they'll wait 3 years and then be like, oh, O'Malley wants a new contract? He wants how much money? He wants to fight Canelo as part of his contract? Yeah, cool. Your next fight is against Umar Nurmagomedov. See how you like that? And then all the pay-per-view points go away. Everything goes away after he loses the title, and that's how they do it.
You're right, Dave.
Of course I'm right.
You're absolutely right,
I've watched this sport for a long time, and I know how the UFC operates. They're not stupid. They make
That's
a guy
the big slip, man.
when you're making $50,000 to $80,000 per fight. You're very happy when the UFC bumps you up to $1 million or $2 million per fight, right? But when you start making $1 million or $2 million per fight, and then they bump you up to $5 million, and then they don't bump you up anymore, you go,
Nagano.
hello?
That's
Is this thing on? And then they go, yeah, you're going to get the toughest goddamn challenge of your life, and if you don't like it, fuck you, and we're not going to give you more money, and get out of here. We don't even like you. This guy doesn't want to, this guy, he's difficult to deal with, you know? He's fucking, you know, that's how the UFC does. But that's, you know, their business.
But,
I mean, as
you
long
always
as
gotta
they're
remember this.
legally allowed to do it, which, you know, I don't know if you guys have been seeing the MMA news, like the deep MMA press, but it looks like the UFC is in a little bit of legal trouble with the way they operate their business. But as long as they're legally allowed to operate their business the way they can, that type of shit's going to keep happening. Right? As long as you're profitable for the UFC and that you don't want too much of the pie, they will treat you well. But once you get kind of too big for your britches, then they put the thumb right on you, right?
Well, that comes over time anyways, Dave. When you think about it, in 3
Comes
years
with every
from now, you have
champion. Every
it comes with
champion
every
that's made a
champion,
name.
But it comes with every fighter. I mean, every fighter has its day. And in 3 years from now, when O'Malley, hopefully he's still there and really becoming a bigger name than he is this week, I mean, you've got guys that are watching, just like you look at some of these fighters looking up to certain fighters that they were watching, man, as kids. And that's the thing. You've got kids that are watching O'Malley, like looking at him, wanting to be O'Malley. But, man, the game is changing every year, every couple of years, man. The MMA game is such a faster, quicker, stronger, more strategic game. I mean, and that's how they get you, too. It's not because that the guy's getting worse. It's just that the guys behind are getting just better, man. You know, you can't compare. Like, these kids are starting to train at 10, 11 years old, man, MMA. Not just jiu-jitsu or wrestling or boxing or whatnot. It's MMA, man, and it's incredible. That's why I'm saying O'Malley's shelf life 3 years, but there's going to be a killer in 3 years from now. We're going to be like, holy shit, this guy's the future. And that's how the UFC feeds you to. He feeds you to the new killers coming up. And there's quite a bit of them in this division as well. Just that we don't see them on the top 10 yet.
I just hope we get...
I told you who it was, AJ. His name is Umar Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
He's a bantamweight. He's 27 years old. He's 16-0, and it's only a matter of time before the UFC unleashes him upon Sean O'Malley. Like, at what point do you think they go, Umar time? They push the Umar button. You know what I mean? Like, O'Malley will become a star. They'll make money off of him for a few pay-per-views, and then they'll go, Umar time. And then what's O'Malley going to do? He better get ready.
Yeah, well, Umar needs to win and get some marquee wins on his name and all
he
that.
Almost had it. If Umar fights Corey Sandhagen a couple weeks ago instead of getting hurt and he beats the shit out of Corey Sandhagen, then all of a sudden people are like, oh, well, people would be talking about Umar in this conversation against Sean O'Malley. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling everybody, I'm calling this, Umar is going to be the one. It's going to be Umar.
Listen,
he might very well be.
And all them.
Say it again, AJ? Sorry, Fred.
No,
go ahead, Fred.
Well, I was just going to say, I just hope that O'Malley is an active champion. Maybe not like Adesanya, but I hope we see him within 6 months having another fight and getting all these challenges, because there's a couple of names, like we said. There's Vera, there's Sanhagen, there's Sterling, there's Mirab. So, there's a lot of fights to be made, and there's money to be made also for O'Malley. So I hope he's hungry and he doesn't go the McGregor route of wanting to box or whatever, man. I'm not interested in seeing Sean O'Malley box. I want to see him fight in MMA.
He wants to box Canelo Alvarez. He's talking about it. A lot of people want to box Canelo Alvarez. Jake Paul? I think Jake Paul is closer to it. I think Jake Paul is probably going to get that fight before Sean O'Malley does.
Good luck.
Because I think Jake Paul will sell the pay-per-views. Canelo's not stupid.
Yeah. But it's Canelo, man. So you're...
How much does Canelo weigh? 150 pounds? Jake Paul's big, man.
He's somewhere around. Yeah, Jake Paul is bigger, man. Over skill like Canelo, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously.
It's gonna be.
Picking anybody against Canelo Alvarez in a boxing match right now seems stupid, right?
Yeah,
but he will have some size on him, I think. What is he? Light heavyweight at the most in boxing, which is 168 to 175. So Jake Paul would have a lot of size on him. Canelo is 5'8". Jake Paul's like what, 6'2"?
6'2". He walks around at about 205, 210.
He fought Nate at 185.
Yeah, imagine that. But his walking weight is around 200 something pounds.
Yeah.
So
Canelo
for sure he's
should
got
beat the shit out of him if they box, but
yeah, it's a different world with Canelo, man.
I'm not saying Jake Paul would beat Canelo Alvarez. I'm saying that he might get the fight because of money.
Oh, I can see that. You're right.
Right?
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Go for it, man. Just let's keep O'Malley in MMA for now, man.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man.
I think so.
Yeah,
you got to keep him in MMA. I think that was a big mistake with Conor. I think Conor would have had a lot of success in the UFC and won more fights if he would have just not done the Mayweather fight. It was great for... It was great for him personally. Man. You disagree?
Yeah.
You think it's good to stop doing MMA for 2 years and then come back and fight the baddest man in the world? You think that's a good plan? Because I don't think that's how you become a successful MMA fighter. MMA is a tough game, and you got to stay ahead of the game. You know what I mean? Like, when you're the champion and you're the big star, everybody's got a target on your back, and they're looking at you and studying you and trying to figure out what you do. If you're not improving, if you're not evolving and adding steps to your game, people are going to catch up to you real quick. People caught up to Conor and surpassed him. The game passed him by. The game moves fast, and if you don't move with the game, you're going to be left behind. That's what happened to Conor, man. He went to boxing. He focused just on boxing, and then, his legs give way. It's 2 years where you're not preparing to wrestle. It's 2 years where you're not getting better at jiu-jitsu. It's 2 years where you're just using your hands, which in MMA is fine, but it's not going to win you a lot of fights. Come on, man. Leaving MMA is not smart. So what? You could have all the success in the world, make all the money in the world. If John Jones left MMA and joined the NFL for 2 years and won a Super Bowl and was in the Pro Bowl and all sorts of shit, then came back to MMA, I'd be like, well, how much fight training has he done? Doesn't mean he wouldn't have success outside of the sport. I'm just saying, if you want to be good at MMA, you got to do MMA.
True. It's
tough, man. It's a tough sport.
True.
These guys are working hard. The thing about MMA is there are guys out there that are hungry. You don't have millionaires sitting on their asses in MMA. And if you do, there's some hungry motherfucker that's out there looking at that millionaire thinking, I could be him if I just work hard enough. And you can.
Ian Gary's one of them, man.
Look at Sean O'Malley.
Ian Gary.
This guy was a Dana White Contender Series. Came in. No tattoos on his face, regular colored hair. Look at him now. Superstar, UFC champion.
True.
How many years ago was that? He was on Dana White Contender Series as a nobody in 2017. 6 years ago, he comes on Dana White Contender Series. He's a 7-0 fighter. He wins a fight by knockout. Snoop Dogg goes crazy. And now 6 years later, a bunch of fights in the UFC. Goddamn. Oh, what is that? That Dana White Contender Series made him 8-0. He has fought a lot in the UFC since then. He's now 17-1-1. I'm not doing that math. I can't do it. My point is, it's a lot of fights. It's a lot of progress. And in 6 years, he's become a UFC champion and pretty much a household name if you're an MMA fan. It's big. And he's on his way, right? So, fighters are hungry, man. They want it.
Well, I mean, the purse is so much more attractive, even if they're not paying like crazy money, like in boxing and whatnot.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of money to be made, and there's
That's
a lot
right.
of sponsorship, and there's a lot of like, marketing that goes along with it, and you're making money on everything, man. Everybody wants to be.
Once you make the money, the key is to stay ahead of the game, to stay on top, to stay focused, and to continue winning and to continue making big, big money. And if Sean O'Malley wants to do that, he's got to maybe, I don't know if you look at the Conor McGregor example, because Conor McGregor, he made a lot of money, but he also hasn't won a lot of fights recently. So I don't know. I think you look at a guy like Olivier Aubin-Mercier. This guy wins $1 million in a tournament last year. He's back with a vengeance this year. He's about to win it again. Although I don't think he wanted to be in the tournament this year. I think PFL was just like, yeah, you have to. He's like, I don't know if I want to do this again. Like, I didn't have a lot of time off. It's not easy, right? All these fights in 1 year.
Yeah, but it's hard, man. He's got a family. He has kids and everything. I mean, for sure he wanted to step back, but he was forced to fight. But the thing with Olivier, he's such a warrior, man, that even though he didn't want to, he's a killer, man. Yeah, and holy smokes, what a fight, what a knockout. And that's the thing with Olivier. He's one fight away from grabbing another million. And, that's the thing with this guy. Once he's there, he's hungry as shit, because Olivier, man, it's not like he was anything rich before going to the PFL. He made some, decent money at the UFC, but the PFL paid him real money. He has a good life now, but he's still hungry, man. Man, it's incredible. You see this guy, people like, I was looking at a lot of comments and they're like, who is this guy, Olivier Aubin-Mercier? He looks like a kid. He doesn't look like he's strong. He doesn't look like a fighter. He's a geek, this and that.
What?
And I'm like,
he looked ginormous.
Most guys in MMA, well, not his body. He has this weird body shape, like going into the weigh-ins and all that. Yeah, it was just, there was a lot of comments.
He's so big.
I know. He is, but there's a lot of negative comments on this guy, and he's a geek and this and that. Who this guy's gonna get smashed?
Stop saying bad things about Olivier, AJ. I'm gonna tell him that you're saying this.
Me saying that, Olivier. I love Olivier. I was with Olivier when he was with the Ultimate Fighter, man. I was with him sitting in a bar watching his show and knowing that this guy was going to be on top. I was sitting with Olivier. I knew this guy's potential. Great guy, man. Great friend. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people, I'm saying, a lot of comments were coming from the U.S. and whatnot, not knowing who this guy was. But they don't realize that these MMA guys always look like geeks. They're not like your Crescent Street.
I'm saying you're being disrespectful. I don't think he looks like a geek. I don't know where you're getting this from, man. Stop calling him a geek.
I'm getting it from the comments, man. You don't want.
Yo, Olivier, I do, man. This guy's saying you look like a geek. Geek, come smash this guy. After you beat that guy, Clay Collard, in November, come get AJ next.
Well, Clay, listen, I'm going to tell you. I'm saying the comments, you crazy bastard.
I mean, maybe Mitsumichi looks a little like a nerd a bit, but come on.
Well, Mitsumichi looks like a geek, but they all do, man. They all do.
Fred.
But going back to Collard, I want to just say one thing. That's going to be one hell of a fight.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think Olivier had a great fight last night. So Olivier, if you don't know, beat Bruno Miranda last night in the second round. Bruno Miranda looked like a featherweight in there. Olivier looked ginormous next to him, right? Like, he beat the hell out of him and dropped him with a punch in the second round, and then followed up, got on top of him, ground and pound, was able to pass to Mount and just leveled him with a bunch of punches from Mount. Got the ref to step in. TKO in the second round over Bruno Miranda. Olivier goes to the finals now of the PFL lightweight tournament. He fought in April, beat Shane Burgos by decision. Then again in June with a knockout over Anthony Romero with that beautiful knee. And then a TKO now in August over Bruno Miranda, and he gets a little bit of time off, not too much. And I believe his fight will be in November. Just want to confirm.
Man,
I'm pretty sure the fight is in November here against Clay Collard. And Olivier just storming through the competition. And I loved his pre-fight interview where he's like, I feel like I'm the boss, like I'm the boss at the end of the video game, and I'm waiting to see like who's next. And he's like, I don't think it's gonna be this guy to beat me. I don't think this guy, maybe, but and he's like, for me, it's win-win. He's like, if I win, then cool, I'm in the finals, another adventure. If I lose, well, it's good too because I get to go on vacation. I'm like, yeah, that's good. Olivier's so real in those pre-fight speeches. He's like, yeah, if I win, cool. If I lose, yeah, I get to chill out. Yeah, it's fine too. Like, you never see a pre-fight speech like that. He's great. He's a character, you know, and not too many guys like him in MMA. And he's fun, and the fans get behind him, especially the fans in Quebec. And MMA fans remember when he said Quebec is back, tabarnak. I think when he beat Stevie Ray last year to win the PFL finals, right? Is that when he said Quebec is back, tabarnak? That was goddamn awesome, and that riled up all the guys in MMA in Quebec, right? Like everybody is saying Quebec is back, tabarnak, because it was iconic. Like it was a moment for Quebec MMA, you know, to see Olivier win that $1 million tournament and to say that at the end and thank the people. That was really cool. And I was disappointed last night that we didn't get to see Olivier on the mic. They didn't do an Olivier interview after the fight.
That was ridiculous.
And, like, hey, man, you got to give a shout out to the people back home. There was people with Quebec flags going bananas in the crowd. Did you
cool
see
that? That was impressive, man.
Huh?
That was impressive to see so many Quebec and like Olivier fans. It was incredible.
I want to go to the finals, man. I want to go.
We should do it, man. Let's do it, man. Let's go see Olivier. Maybe Olivier could kick in some money for us because he's worth $1 million plus.
Let's take it easy asking the guy for accommodations. Olivier, can you get us a hotel room and tickets, please?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, man.
And
a cab ride too while you're at it. Get Angelo. We'll get Angelo to Uber us to
New York City.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, why not? Listen, Angelo could come to the fights too. Why not? That'd be a great idea. Good idea, Dave. But anyways, getting back to what you were saying, I was surprised the PFL, which was a really great show last night. I really like their format, how they go with the 4 finalists, and then you get to see who he's going to fight next. Olivier was sitting at ringside watching to see who was going to be winning between Collard and Burgos, which was an amazing fight.
Crazy fight. But
not to give the guy an opportunity to say something, it was a bit weird, man. Yep. I thought you win, you say something.
Maybe they were short on time. I think they were just trying to get through it. Sometimes when they're short on time, they don't do the post-fight interviews. But yeah, I was disappointed that Olivier didn't get that.
But getting back to the Collard fight, I want to say one thing on that.
I want to get to the Collard fight in a second here, AJ. Yeah, Hang on. I just want to wish Nick a happy 15th birthday. Nick, Doug's son, out in Kingston, Ontario. Man. Happy birthday, Nick. 15 is an awesome time. 15, 14, 15, 16. Fantastic time. Fantastic time to be alive. 15, 16, jeez, things get
crazy.
Fun. Things get real interesting. You know? Good luck, Doc. Good luck to you. I just remember myself at 15 and 16, and my goodness. The things you get up to when you're 15 and 16. So good luck to you, Nick. Happy birthday, my friend. And Doug, good luck to you. But yeah, 15 is a good time. 16 is a real party, from what I remember.
Doug's going to have, that's pretty cool, man. Have a son at 15. You can go to shows with him. Soon enough, you can go to a pub with him.
Yeah.
Good times, man.
I think at 15 is when you start to not want it. I mean, I don't know. You know.
And you know what's, look, if they were doing jiu-jitsu right now, I would probably put my money on Nick to kind of submit Doug, because I see it all the time in jiu-jitsu where like dads come with their kids and they're like 13, 14, 15 years old and they're training together. In fact, a good friend of mine too, it was really cool to see that the son is like smacking the dad. Like he's just closing up, submitting the dad.
What does this have to do with jiu-jitsu? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm just trying to say if Doug was doing jiu-jitsu.
You're just relating this to a story of a man and his son that you saw recently where the son was doing submission moves on his dad. Man. What?
Yeah, man. I'm just saying
what does that have to do with Nick's birthday?
Because he's 15 years old. I've seen 15-year-old kids like submitting their dads a lot.
That's because they train and their dads don't train, man. Come on, AJ.
No. Their dads are training too, man. Their dads are training too in jiu-jitsu. They're in the same classes, man. I see it all the time. I'm just saying 15-year-olds today, man, are a lot different than 15-year-olds way, way back. Much stronger, I'm just saying in general, man.
Some of them might be.
Oof, the ones I know, man, are killers.
So you saw one
15-year-old
15-year-old who was
killers.
good at jiu-jitsu, and now
One
you're
15-year-old.
blanketing all
Oh, no, no, no.
15-year-olds as jiu-jitsu
I
black
see.
belts?
I see a lot
What?
of them. I'm telling you, man. That's the future of That's the future of MMA, man. They're coming. They're 15-year-olds and they're killers.
Are you saying
I
that the
had one in my.
children are the future?
Well, what do you think? It's not a Michael Jackson song. I'm just saying that
AJ.
if they're training jiu-jitsu, they're killers.
When Caden's gonna be 15, you're gonna be 95 anyway. So yeah, it's gonna be an easy win for him.
True enough.
Yeah, but no, maybe not. Look at Helio Gracie.
Definitely.
Helio Gracie was like 90 years old and like submitting 20-year-olds all the time.
Caden could take you now.
Caden could take out a lot of guys right now.
Yeah,
Caden has taken
especially
down. I don't want to say it. Freddie knows, man. Or I think I told you last week. He has a heavy right for a 3-year-old.
Cool.
Got to be careful.
Doug says
But anyways,
he
I'll
can
say
still take
happy
him.
birthday,
He can
Nick.
still take Nick, but okay. I don't know why we're even discussing this. AJ just brought it up in a strange way for no reason because he's
What
weird.
do you mean in a strange way?
You're a
Listen,
weird guy.
Diaz didn't he fight his first pro fight, or not pro fight, maybe his first MMA fight at 15 with an adult and smoked him? Wasn't he 15 or 16 years old?
So Clay Collard and Shane Burgos had a hell of a fight last night in the main event of PFL. Really good fight. Really violent fight. I'm just ignoring you because you're ridiculous.
I want to choke you guy.
Right? Good fight, AJ. You wanted to talk about it. So,
Yeah,
Clay
you actually, let's
Collard's
talk
leg.
about it.
Clay Collard's leg got kicked out of his leg, just completely decimated leg.
But
I don't think
did
he's
it
got a
stop him?
leg anymore. That leg.
Man.
Listen,
Look, forget about the leg.
the
He was
point
still
is,
able to
hold on, AJ, I'm getting to my point. Shut up. Please. The point is, that guy's leg got kicked real bad, so he's going to need some time to rest, right? Like, he's walking with a limp today. Shane Burgos lost the fight. This guy, Clay Collard, won by decision, but in the third round, Collard was fucked up. His leg was destroyed. He was he got kicked, and he was falling over like a lot of times from leg kicks. His leg was all sorts of bruised. So today, he's walking funny. Tomorrow, he's still walking funny. Olivier walked out without a scratch on him. Beat the brakes off this guy in a round and a half. Done his work. Goes home. TKO win. Easy peasy. This other guy, Clay Collard, was in a war with Shane Burgos, and now he's got 3 months to get ready for Olivier. Good luck, Clay Collard. And if I'm Olivier, you know what I would do? Kick the leg. I mean, come on. That sounds like good strategy. Do you see that guy's leg last night? It was black and blue all up and down. He got kicked. He fell over from a kick in the leg. I think, that leg can't be feeling good, and I can't imagine that it'll be feeling good even in November. So I would kick his leg.
Look,
but also,
man.
Olivier's boxing is amazing. His jiu-jitsu is fantastic.
Yeah,
his judo
improved
is
a lot.
top-notch. He can do anything.
It's Olympic level.
I think he could probably also just take Clay Collard down and completely dominate him from a grappling standpoint, take his back and choke him, or mount him up and pound him out like he did to the guy Miranda last night. I think Olivier could beat Clay Collard in a variety of different ways. Clay Collard is obviously tough, but from what I've seen, and I say this without any bias towards Olivier, Olivier seems like the more polished, more well-rounded, overall skilled fighter. Collard has really good boxing and some really fast hands, so danger there for sure. But I think Olivier can kind of grind him out, push him against the fence, make it more of a clinch grappling thing, and he could really smash him up. Olivier doesn't throw a ton of leg kicks, so I don't know if he'd want to do that in the fight with Collard, but I think Olivier's boxing is really, really good, and he's got really powerful hands. He might be able to stand and trade with him. He probably can. I think he could beat him any which way, quite frankly, but Collard definitely has some good hands, right? Like that boxing was really good last night.
Coach, let me say something.
No.
Cassius Clay, man, is what they call him. And I'm going to tell you something.
Cassius Clay Collard,
Yeah, his boxing was phenomenal. And it wasn't just like his combinations and the way he's able to move in the ring. It was the way he was able to defend. The guy was able to move away from anything that was being thrown at him. He was slipping, he was sliding, he was moving. He was able to read every shot that Burgos was throwing. And that was really, really impressive. I was looking at that and I'm like, okay, Olivier, what does Olivier have to do? You can't exchange with this guy because Olivier has heavy, heavy hands. But just the fact that Cassius was able to read so many punches, because Burgos is an amazing striker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to win it all. There was no doubt about it. When he came in, he was supposed to win this, and obviously it didn't work out. I think the key point for Olivier to win is to keep him up against the octagon. You got to close that space. You can't allow Clay Collard to be able to throw those combinations because they're fast. And if you start trying to throw, he's able to slip away and get you, man. Even on a back step, he's able to knock you out. So for myself, I don't think the leg kick is going to be – I think that's a really good point. His leg was really compromised. But, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for Olivier. What's going to work for Olivier against a guy like this, the stand-up is going to be dangerous if you take it at the center of the octagon. He's got to grind them into the fence, hold them there, play the Muay Thai game with this guy, clinch up, hammer him with elbows, hammer him with knees, and get him to the ground. If he gets him to the ground, I'm pretty sure Olivier will win this in a submission because this is his game. And I love Olivier's game of boxing. He's gotten so much better in the striking game. It's just that this guy's eye, his defensive eye, man, was so impressive.
Really good head movement.
Holy
the
shit,
way he
man.
would just kind of move his head just far enough to be out of reach of Shane Burgos' punch. Really impressive. And I do agree with you. I think Olivier standing up, trading with him, he might have trouble landing on Clay Collard because, he's got heavy hands and Clay Collard might see a couple of those shots coming. But I think, like you said, and like I said, pushing him up against the fence and then taking him down, that's the move. You take him down. I think Olivier can totally out-grapple this guy completely. I think we saw a little bit of Clay Collard's ground game, and there was not much there. I was like, oh, the takedown is there. Like, Burgos took him down at one point, and I think it was in his guard, and Collard had, no guard. But it was late in the third round, so Burgos didn't have a lot of time to capitalize on that. But what I saw there was, man, Burgos and grappling is not really what Collard is not like a grappler. This guy is a boxer. So take that motherfucker to the ground. And Olivier can do that. He could do that all day.
Of course.
So I think Olivier's got that fight. Take him down, and it should be a wrap. And maybe he doesn't submit him in the first round, whatever, but I think the takedown will be there, and he could either win a decision by getting enough takedowns and controlling enough rounds, or finish him eventually. I think Collard could be tired out, too. I think you can gas him out. You saw in that third round. That third round, he looked, labored. Like his leg was hurt, but also he looked a little slower and tired, and I think that Olivier has a better gas tank. I think he's in better shape. Also, he's much bigger. I think the wrestling is going to work because Olivier, with that upper body strength, he's going to be able to take him down.
Well, the thing is that if I'm not mistaken, the final is 5 rounds, right? So if it goes to 5 rounds, this is where it's going to make the difference, is that third round. And you're absolutely right. I mean, he still looked okay for me in the third, where it could have been either or. I didn't think maybe Burgos was going to get it. It wasn't so close that, Burgos got that third, in my opinion. I mean, Cassius was still throwing nice punches and whatnot. I don't know what his strike count was, but it was up there. But what I did notice was he was starting to slow down. And a guy like Olivier Aubin-Mercier, man, this guy could go 5 rounds, you know what I mean, like easily. He's not going to gas out. In fact, he's probably going to get stronger and stronger. You know what I'm saying? From the 3rd, 4th, 5th, that's where the grappling, wrestling game comes in, and that's what makes or breaks a fighter. I think that's the difference. So if I'm going to be looking at this fight or their fight coming up in November based on what I just saw last night, which was really exciting, kudos to the PFL. They threw out a great package. But if I had to put my money down right now, Olivier Aubin-Mercier is probably going to destroy this guy in the early rounds. I think it's going to end before the 3rd round. I think Olivier is on his way to make that 2 million mark. And like I keep saying, if Jake Paul wants to come into the PFL, if Jake Paul wants to come and fight MMA, I think it's only right for a guy like Olivier Aubin-Mercier to take that fight. He deserves it, man. And you know what? let Jake Paul be introduced to the world of Olivier. Canadian gangster, man. Tap out.
Yeah, I know you're really pulling for that Jake Paul fight. I don't know if it's going to happen,
Oh,
but it would be cool.
Wouldn't it be awesome if it does?
Yeah,
It'd be great, man.
of course.
Like a two-time champion against, like, you know,
The Canadian
welcome to the
gangster
PFL.
fighting Jake Paul. I mean, that would be great.
The American
I would love that
gangster,
for
man.
Olivier. I would love it. I saw Olivier. You know, Olivier is a guy from around here. I go sledding with my son, and he's at the park doing snowboarding with his daughter. Like I saw Olivier. I think it
cool
was
guy,
last
man.
winter, maybe. I think I saw him last winter at the park, just around my house. You know, Olivier is a guy from here. You know.
He's a chill guy, man. He's always been a chill guy, and that's the thing. He's a champion. Okay, he's made a lot of money now, but he hasn't changed, man. He's a cool guy, like, you know, and he sticks. He's pretty faithful to his team, to his coaches and whatnot. I mean, like, you know, he's a good Quebec guy. We've got great Quebec talent in the UFC, the PFL, and all that. Like right now, man, it's made Quebec look pretty good since George has been gone. You know.
Yeah,
No,
Olivier is
tabarnak!
that guy. Olivier is that guy for Quebec, for sure.
Si, parle, si.
Take it
Freddie,
easy.
qu'est-ce que tu souris là? What's happening over there?
I just love your national, your pride for your people from Quebec. Always, you're
Ben oui, si.
very expressive, which is cool.
Jerry Boulet, did you hear? Did you see? Did you see the post on Instagram with Olivier Aubin-Mercier? I said, what am I gonna put for Olivier, man? Mark, put something from Jerry Boulet, man. Jerry was the best. If you're a real Quebecer, you'll know who Jerry Boulet is, man.
Well, I guess I'm not a real Quebecer. I have no idea who you're talking about.
Freddie knows Jerry Boulet, man. He's like the Elvis of Quebec, man.
Really? Maybe it's a different generation thing. I don't know. I never heard of him.
Yeah, it's another generation.
Yeah. I don't think it's a real Quebec thing, AJ. I think it's just, you know.
Ben oui, even the young
They're
kids
born
know
in
Jerry
but-
Boulet here.
Is it?
But you got to be of a certain age.
I mean, I know Eric Lapointe, you know.
I mean, Jerry Boulet's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
dead for 25 years, so
Oh. So how am I supposed
Yeah,
to know who
he-
that is, AJ? What are you talking about?
Well, you know Elvis, and he's been gone longer, man.
Yeah, but Elvis
hey.
is like the most famous, one of the most
But
you know, come on.
Jerry
we-
Boulet, see, is like famous in Quebec, Dave.
not as
Nah,
pretty
Elvis.
famous.
not as famous as Elvis Presley. I would guess Elvis Presley is still more famous than Jerry Boulet.
Offenbach. You ever heard of Offenbach?
Yeah,
Offenbach, man.
Okay, well, he's the singer.
that was a band, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Okay. Cool. Why are we talking about him? I don't get
I'm not sure.
I'm not
Okay.
sure either.
Because of AJ. Because of AJ's nonsense. Max Holloway, Chan Sung Jung is the main event this coming Saturday morning. Fred, this is the card for you. It's a morning card. UFC Singapore. First fight, prelims, 5 a.m., main card, 8 a.m. Perfect. Get
I'll
UFC
be at my
over with in the morning time.
I'll be at my daughter's soccer game, but
At
That's
8
cool.
a.m.?
8:35.
Jeez.
How
On
about
Saturday?
mush?
What are you doing to yourself? God.
Being a good father.
Such a good father. Stop being such a good father early in the morning. Ridiculous. I hate the worst part about being a good father is having to wake up early. That sucks. I don't like waking up early. I like staying up late and waking up late. But ever since I had kids, it's like, that's out the window. I try to wake up. I try to stay up late and wake up early, and that sucks. That's unpleasant. I'm just tired constantly. It sucks.
Go to bed early and wake up early, man.
I don't want to.
The future belongs to those that wake up early, bro.
But fun things
The early
happen
bird
at
That's what my
night.
catches
dad
the worm.
always said.
But
Brady's
there's
got a
fun,
point there.
interesting things
That's not
happening
true.
at nighttime.
That's not true. Wake and bake every morning, man. Everything's
That's
fun.
what
You
Freddie's
can do
right,
that
man.
at
Anthony
9
Robbins.
as well as you can do it at 6.
Look, Freddie lives the Anthony Robbins lifestyle, man. Look at this guy. He's got a point there.
What lifestyle do I live? Ja Rule
The
lifestyle,
Nate
baby.
Diaz. The Nate Diaz, man.
Nate Diaz. Yeah, motherfucker. What? What? I really do. I really do live that Nate Diaz lifestyle. Represent. Fred, you gonna be
Central
at the gym
Coast,
tomorrow
man.
morning, homie?
Where's my C?
Not sure.
Are you going to the
Oh,
gym?
what? You better be there, motherfucker. Well,
Still have some car issues. My cars should be ready tomorrow.
Oh, god damn. Fred's been having car issues for like a month.
Well, the thing is my garage just was on vacation, and it's
He's
a
back,
big
though.
job. So, this week he came back, and he started today. Transmission issues going to cost me like $3,000.
Let's hope his vacation wasn't very
super
expensive,
chat, Fred.
Freddie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Fred?
Fix
Let's
Fred's
hope his vacation
transmission.
wasn't very expensive, man, because you're going to be paying for it.
Shout
A
out to
$50
Leor.
job becomes $1,000.
Leor in the chat. He says Freddie is 100% right. Early bird gets the worm. I love waking up at 7 a.m. every day.
See, there you go, man. That's what I said.
But on
The early
school
bird
days,
gets
I
the
got to
worm.
wake up at like 6 a.m. 6 a.m. seems harsh, man.
It is harsh.
It's rough, you know? My
Not
son's
that
in
bad.
school now. I got to wake up at like 6. School's back
just
next
go.
week.
You can't go to bed later than 9:30. That's the trick.
Bro, it's
Well,
9
like,
o'clock now. What are you
that's
going to
hard,
do?
man.
I'm not going to go to
Yeah,
sleep.
Well, let's
Well,
wrap
Fred
it up.
generally
I'm
goes to
ready
sleep.
for bed.
Yeah, Fred's like already getting ready. He's got his PJs
Freddie's already
on.
sleeping, man.
Yeah.
It could be like a live watch along or actually our show.
Oh man,
here.
this Saturday was so tough, man. Like that, those fights finished late, and Sunday my
was
kids
crazy.
were up at 6. Man, I didn't sleep much that day.
Oh,
It was exciting.
I didn't think that it was the tiredness that was tough on Saturday because you told me about some other stuff that was going on with you
also,
Saturday.
yeah, the mushroom also fucked me up, but yeah,
He was like fucking gone. Goddamn flying on Saturday. Oh man, that's the 2023, man. The year of mushrooms. That's for sure. You know, it's taken over. Everybody's doing mushrooms these days. Everybody's microdosing. It's taken over.
Did the place get busted in Montreal for like having like a mushroom shop?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But eventually
There
it's
goes
going to
your
be
show, man.
legal in Canada just like
Campbell's
weed.
soon
It's a
done.
matter of time. It's a matter of time. Johnny North says, open up my phone and it's filled with Bray Wyatt died messages. What happened? Yeah.
so sad, man. Terry Funk.
We'll get to the
Wyatt.
fights here
The
in
hell,
a
man.
second. Good fight card this weekend in Singapore. But yeah, we should talk about Bray Wyatt, and since Johnny North doesn't know about it, we should tell him. Bray Wyatt passed away today at the age of 36.
That's all he was?
WWE superstar Bray Wyatt. Wyndham Rotunda was his real name. I think he leaves behind a wife and 3 kids. I think he had one with his current wife and then 2 with his previous wife. And, a father, a brother. Crazy.
Sad, man.
Apparently, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful reported that Wyndham Rotunda got COVID earlier this year, and it exacerbated some heart issues that he already had.
What?
Yeah.
COVID?
Well, he had a heart issue, and then COVID made it worse. That's what exacerbated means, AJ. Made it worse.
No, I'm just trying to. Yeah, I was just trying to hear if
And he says
it was related.
The report continues here. I'll show you the.
Fuck, man, this COVID shit. Fauci.
I don't think you can. AJ, maybe you should be out of this conversation because what you're gonna say is stupid.
No, I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna hold back.
Yeah,
The
hold back
facts are
because
out
what you're
there.
saying makes no sense. So
No, it does.
here's a tweet from Sean Ross Sapp. COVID exacerbated a heart issue. There was a lot of positive progress towards a return and his recovery. Unfortunately, today he suffered a heart attack and passed away
Man,
at 36. He'd
So
been away
young,
from the
man.
WWE for a few months. It was kind of mysterious. Nobody really knew why. And, yep.
Now you know
we
why.
do.
And it's sad because he has like a young child, a baby, and it's hard, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's shocking. It's really shocking news. I still can't really believe it.
It's been a tough couple of days for wrestling, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we lost Terry Funk a couple days ago. Legendary Terry Funk, who I'm still sad about Terry Funk dying. And then this,
But Terry was what, like almost 79, 80 years old around there? I mean, it's sad to see him go, but he lived a pretty long life. But at
Yeah.
36, man, it's like,
Yeah.
he still had a lot of life left in him. Obviously, in
Terry
wrestling,
was only
he could've-
79. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't that old. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
he wasn't.
he lived a hard
But
life.
36,
but 36 is that's another situation altogether, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's horrible, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So rest in peace, Bray
Fucking
Wyatt.
cool.
I can't believe I'm saying that. Just as you say it, you're like, what? Really? I don't know. Like, I'm in shock. I can't believe that that he's dead. Like, what? And the whole wrestling world is in mourning. Obviously, a lot of people that knew him, colleagues, friends, putting out messages. Yeah. Very sad. We'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow night on Wrestling Uncensored with Johnny North. 10 p.m. Eastern after SmackDown. It was going to be a fun show about AEW All In, previewing that. We'll still do that and have some fun, but kind of a dark week in pro wrestling. Losing Terry Funk and losing Bray Wyatt in the same week is like, it's not easy. It's not easy right now if you love pro wrestling and the people involved. So that's sad.
Yep.
I mean, if you watched our show, like, I was not like the biggest Bray Wyatt fan, but like, the guy's a pro wrestler. The guy's he's a man with a family. It's horrible to see this kind of stuff happen, Yeah. It was a real shock. Real shock. Rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. And, of course, to Terry Funk. We'll talk about Terry Funk. We'll do a full tribute to Terry Funk tomorrow and the impact that he had on professional wrestling. Legend. Nobody like Terry Funk. All right. Let's preview some fights. Max Holloway, Korean Zombie. Anybody picking the Zombie to win? Because I am not. I'm going with Max Holloway. Max Holloway right now, a huge favorite over at bet99.com, minus 750. Sounds about right. Nobody picking Zombie? Can we move on? I mean, I just think Zombie's kind of towards the tail end of his career. Holloway's still one of the best 145ers in the world. I don't think anybody's beaten Max Holloway at 145 other than Alexander Volkanovski. It's been true for several years now. Max Holloway is the best outside of Volkanovski. The only guy who's beat him at 145 in the past 10 years is Volkanovski. It's been basically 10 years where he's beat everybody except Volkanovski. Lost to him 3 times. Lost to Dustin Poirier when he went up to 155 pounds. But other than that, he's beaten everybody at 145. And I think Korean Zombie will be included on that list. So everybody thinks that.
Even though he's lost,
should be
he
Holloway.
still looked great in the fight. You know what I'm saying? He's the only guy who's looked as a champion without the belt. When you look at Holloway, man, even when he loses, he looks great.
He's like
it's hard to go against him.
featherweight
No offense to the
champion.
Korean. Yep. He's there, man, and it's hard. Not to take away from the Korean Zombie. I think he's gone 5 rounds in 2 of his last fights or whatever. I can't remember exactly. Like, the guy can go the distance, but it's going to be hard to go up against Holloway.
Weird
That's
career
a
for
pretty,
Max
I
Holloway.
would say.
Like, he's champion for a while. Here comes this guy Volkanovski. Beats him in a close fight. Goes to decision. Then he comes back. Fights Volkanovski again. Again, Volkanovski beats him in an even closer fight that a lot of people felt Holloway won. I thought Holloway won. Then Holloway beats a couple more guys. Fights Volkanovski again. Loses a decision. And the third time, it's like, oh, yeah, Volkanovski definitely won that one. Like, the first 2 were real close. The third one, it was like, yeah, it's not so close. Volkanovski won. But, it's weird now because he just beat Arnold Allen in his last fight, and Arnold Allen is a beast, and Holloway beat him.
But he destroyed him, man.
Right.
He
and
destroyed
Arnold
him.
Allen is supposed to be, he was the next up-and-comer, whatever. Holloway's like, yeah, cool story, I'm going to beat you. So Holloway's in this weird spot where he's lost to Volkanovski 3 times, but 2 of those 3 times, you could argue that he won.
Yeah,
But the
I
last
agree.
one, he definitely lost, and that's the one that's fresher in your memory. So he's in a weird spot. You're champion for a while. Here comes this guy Volkanovski. He seems to have your number, but nobody else can beat you. It's strange. It's like no other champion has been in that position in the UFC where they can't quite get the belt back and no one else can beat them. I guess Robert Whittaker is kind of in that spot, but Drykens just beat him, so he's not quite that guy anymore. But I don't think anybody's beaten Holloway, so I got Holloway here. That's it.
Yeah,
The
I got
Korean
Holloway
zombie.
also.
Go ahead, Fred.
I was gonna say I got Holloway also, and I know he was champion, but I'll compare it a little bit to Daniel Cormier, where he was champion, but everybody knew John Jones was the real champion, and Cormier was an excellent fighter, just like Holloway. But there's this one guy that's better in that division than, unfortunately for Max Holloway, having lost 3 times to Volkanovski, he's gonna need more than a win this weekend. Like he's a couple fights away before getting another shot at Volk.
Yeah. But maybe, this one and another one. Like he puts 3 wins together. Who else is there for Volk? Like Holloway keeps eliminating all the top challengers. At a certain point, you go, well, I guess you got to give it to him again. I know Volkanovski's going to fight Yair next, but what's after that for Volkanovski? It might be a 4th fight with Holloway. It really might. It's hard to deny Holloway the fight if he keeps beating. Like if you keep beating everybody in the division, how are you not the number 1 contender? Like it's hard to deny the guy.
No, for sure. And look, Holloway did beat Yair, so it's like you're gonna come back. It's like a ping pong match going back and forth. But the Zombie is not the guy to beat Holloway. I mean, no offense. 10 years ago, it could have been a little bit more interesting. But today, man, you're 36 years old. He's probably a little bit past his prime. He took a brutal beating from Volkanovski last year, and he almost considered retirement. And here he is fighting a guy that is possibly like a champ without the belt. And it's going to be hard, man. Saturday's fight is going to be a Holloway fight, and he's going to start building up with a couple of more fights to fighting for the title again. There's nobody there that could beat Holloway. It's crazy, man. But it's interesting at the same time. Maybe the next fight, if he doesn't win the title against Volkanovski, maybe Holloway, mind you, he's still young, maybe it might be time for him to say, you know what, it's time to step back. I mean, I can't beat this guy, but I can beat everybody else. I'm the 2nd best guy in the world, Where do you go from there? And to be honest, like he can't keep taking like brutal beatings.
Yeah.
He will if he continues like winning, which he will. But the thing is, how much more punishment can Holloway take?
Yeah, well,
let's be honest.
Well, how much more punishment can Korean Zombie take? I think in this fight, that's more of the question. He's taking a shit ton of punishment, and I think Holloway is going to dish out some more. I think he might finish the Zombie,
and I think the Zombie is going to probably retire. He was looking to retire last year.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure if he takes a beating from from Holloway, I think the Korean Zombie is going to retire.
Okay. Anthony Smith, Ryan Spann is our co-main event. Anthony Smith beat Ryan Spann 2 years ago, submitted him in the first round. Now they're fighting again. Anthony Smith has lost 2 straight since then. A TKO loss to Magomed Ankalaev, and then a decision loss to Johnny Walker. Ryan Spann, since his loss to Anthony Smith, beat Jan Kutalaba by submission, knocked out Dominic Reyes, but then just got tapped by Nikita Krylov in his last fight. This is a rematch. And the odds have Anthony Smith plus 110 the underdog, Ryan Spann minus 130 the favorite. I'll go with Anthony Smith. He tapped him in the first round last time.
Yeah, but that was years back too,
2 years. It's not that much time. 2 years is not a lot of time. I think Ryan
There's a lot of
Spann
wear
is
and tear,
very
man.
good. He's improved in the last 2 years. But I don't know if he's improved that much. I'll go with Anthony Smith plus 110.
Listen, if you're gonna look at like overall like a fight experience and whatnot, the guy's going into this fight with 54 career pro fights. 54 for Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith is a beast. The last time we fought, we didn't think he was gonna do so well because I told you his orbital bone was like damaged. It was broken actually. You know, yeah, he's 0-2 since that win over Spann. But I think experience is gonna probably take him over for the win on this. I'm going with Anthony Smith myself.
There you go. Let's do parlays, AJ. You got a parlay for me? Since you were all big and bad last weekend with a 5-fight parlay that actually won, let's see what you got this weekend for me. It's a 6-fight main card, so if you want to be real snazzy, you can do a 6-fight parlay, AJ, and see if that comes out.
It's going to be tough, man.
Yes.
It's going to be a tough one. Let Freddie go first because I have a few things I got to review.
Why are we letting Freddie go first? Fred, you have a parlay for me?
I got
Freddie.
Anthony Smith,
Okay.
and I'm going to parlay him with Jigga. What's his motherfucking name?
Giga
Jicadiz.
Chikadze to beat Alice
Who does he
Caceres.
roll with?
Giga. He rolls with his Giga. Don't make me say bad things, Fred. Come on.
Come on, Dave.
Bitches better get it right. Freddie better get it right. Who? Giga.
AJ doesn't even get the reference,
No.
I bet. But
But it sounds catchy. I was
That's a
dancing
good
to
song.
so yeah, that's my parlay, man.
Nah, okay.
That's it?
Anthony Smith. AJ's like, what? That's it? AJ's super disappointed with your parlay. I like it.
That's it?
Let's see. How much are we putting on this? $20, right? $20. Okay. There it is. Hey, Bet99's got their sites a little bit updated. Looks nice. There you go. Anthony
Let's see
Smith,
it. Oh, it's good.
Ryan Spann, 2 fights, and plus 196. $20 gets you $59.14 over at Bet99.com. Use that promo code Ringside when you sign up over at Bet99.com. We're going to have more stuff with Bet99 coming up real soon. Lots of stuff in the works. I think we're going to have some giveaways too, guys, so get ready for that. Smith and Giga. What's his motherfucking name? Giga. That's the Fred parlay. AJ is still looking and taking notes and furiously figuring things out over there. So I will be a good friend to AJ, as I always am. Right, AJ?
Yeah, man, of course.
Yeah, that's right, AJ. Fucking guy. And
Bastard.
I will do my parlay before you so you can have some time to figure things out. So here is the Team Dave parlay. I'm going with... Ooh, I like a couple of these. Baby. All right, it's a 3-fight parlay from Team Dave, which is always nice. We always like a 3-fight parlay. Who doesn't? And this is where we're going. We're going with Aaron Blanchfield, who is a Team Dave favorite. Aaron Blanchfield over Tyler Santos, minus 150, I think, is really good value on Aaron Blanchfield right now, and it's probably the best value that you will get on Aaron Blanchfield for quite some time because she is a winner. And people are going to start figuring that out. Tyler Santos is definitely tough, but I believe Aaron Blanchfield will take her and will get the win in a 3-round fight. Blanchfield has been running through her opponents, submitting everybody. If you want to make things real interesting, maybe go for Blanchfield by submission. I could see her getting a finish there. Blanchfield, Junior Tafa to get the win over Parker Porter, and then Max Holloway as a huge favorite just to top it off. $20 gets you $64.76 over at Bet99.com. It's a 3-fight parlay plus 224. It's Holloway, Tafa over Porter, and Blanchfield over Santos. Team Dave 3-fight parlay won last weekend. We're winning a lot these days. I know all the glory is going on AJ, but Team Dave is actually doing pretty good too. AJ wasn't the only one who gave you Sean O'Malley last weekend, so just saying.
Yeah, but I gave you 5 fights. So here we go. Are we ready, man? Are you ready for the win, man?
Fucking AJ.
Open up that wallet.
Open up your face.
Use the wrench. Squeeze it open with the monkey wrench. So, Are you ready, dude, or not?
I don't even know what you're saying. Squeeze it open with a monkey wrench.
So here we go. Max Holloway.
Yeah.
I'm going with Anthony Smith.
Yeah.
For the experience. I mean, Ryan Spann is a bigger fighter than Anthony Smith. But anyways. Then I'm going to go with Nakamura, who was actually my first karate coach. Not him. Could be his grandfather.
You didn't pick the Chikadze Caceres fight.
Yeah, I'm going for that right now. Oh, did I overstep that one? Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Leroy, Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres, man. I think he's gonna take over Giga, man. When it comes to the striking game, man. Listen, you guys, you keep forgetting, man. The guy, in his last 8 fights, he's only lost once. And he's been looking really, really good. And if you're going to look at like who has like a better striking power, who's more creative in the ring, it's this guy. Giga, when's the last time he fought? He took a beating from Calvin Kattar in 2022, back in January. That's his last fight. And here he is coming against Bruce Leroy, who's lost once in his last 8. I'm just saying, a lot of times we underrate Leroy, but the guy keeps winning. He's kind of like an O'Malley that's in the shadows, and then boom, there he is. So I'm going with Bruce Lee, Roy, and then I'm going to go with Aaron Blanchfield for the win. This is going to go to distance, and then I'm going to end it with my 6th with Junior Tafa. Junior Tafa, man, heavy striker. Like, this guy has a power knockout. He's 4-1. Parker Porter, man, he's like, some people questioning if he should be in the UFC. So, look, I'm going to start the night with Junior Tafa. Blanchfield comes out. My Nakamura. Bruce Lee, Anthony Smith, and Max Holloway. Show me the money, Dave. Show me the money, man.
It is a 6-fight parlay. It is a ginormous parlay from Team AJ. He's got Max Holloway minus 750. Then he goes with the underdogs. Anthony Smith plus 110. Alex Caceres plus 200. Rinya Nakamura minus 800. Aaron Blanchfield minus 150. And Junior Tafa minus 140. A couple of those were on Team Dave. Not bad. Let's see. That's a $20 gets you $459 over at bet99.com. A 6-fight parlay. Plus 21.95 are the odds on that one. If you want to ride the Team AJ wave, go for it at bet99.com. $20 gets you $459 with Tafa, Blanchfield, Nakamura, Caceres, Smith, and Holloway. Wake up Saturday morning with some money in your pocket, courtesy of Team AJ.
That's it, man.
Maybe.
It's going to be back-to-back wins for AJ.
I hope you can pull this off. Honestly, you should put some money on that parlay if you actually believe in it, because look at the payout. It's ridiculous. Go for it. What are you doing?
Like, the
if
Anthony
you really
Smith
believed in yourself, you'd put money on that, because you would think $20 to get $450.
Sharing, dude.
That's a guarantee. That's easy. Why wouldn't you put money on that if you're really confident?
I'm telling you.
Are you confident?
I'm pretty confident this one.
What's your confident percentage on that parlay?
100%.
100%?
100%, man. I'm not putting it down if I didn't believe in it, man. I believe in it. Just like my coach Fabio says, once you get the Kimura, believe in it. Never let it go till you take the arm home. And I'm going to tell you.
Just like a Kimura. You hold on to it and you tweak the shoulder until it's over. What?
Till you take it home. That's a good way to say it. Listen, Anthony Smith, man, when you look at that fight, it could be a little bit dangerous, but when you look at the experience of Anthony Smith, man, if it gets to the ground, he could do quite a bit. Ryan Spann, man, heavy hitter and whatnot, that's where, I'm going to be a little bit more nervous. Out of all the fights, it'll be the Anthony Smith fight. I really have a lot of confidence in Leroy. I think Leroy could beat Giga. Other than that, man, if my Leroy comes out, I'll just be holding my breath for the Anthony Smith fight because I'm pretty sure Max Holloway is going to end that fight pretty early.
And there you have it. And there you have it. AJ, thank you. Fred, thank you. You guys are the best.
Thank you, Dave.
What?
Thank you. No, thank you.
No, thank you, AJ.
No, thank you.
You've been wonderful tonight. Thank you. Go fuck yourself.
Happy birthday, Nick, man. 15 years old, man.
Yeah.
I wish I could go back to 15.
Happy birthday, Nick. Johnny North says probably need more kids, Dave. I don't know what that means. I don't know what he's talking about.
Johnny!
Who needs
Johnny's
more
gone
kids?
wild.
I'm good. Shout out to everybody watching tonight. Johnny North, Leor, member of the team. Angelo Contagona says, "Shut up, AJ." Of course, as you
It's
should,
about time.
Angelo. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Leor.
Scassa de Angelo.
Thank you, Doug Hepburn. Doug Hepburn, super chat leader of the night. Happy birthday, Nick. Happy birthday, Nick. Thank you, Patrick C. Hamilton. 32 months. A member of the team.
Super chat.
Nice. Thank you, Patrick, for supporting the Ringside Report Network. I hope you cashed in at UFC 291. 292? What was it? 292.
292, man.
Yeah. 293 is next. It's coming
Boston,
up in
I love Boston.
like 2 weeks in Australia.
Already?
It's really soon. 293
Jesus.
is the 9th of September, which is coming up. Not next week, but the week after will be UFC 293. And yes, it looks like a very weak pay-per-view. Next week, we'll be previewing a Cyril Gann fight, AJ. Get ready. UFC going back to
Cyril.
Paris. Cyril Gann taking on
It's about
Sergey
time, man.
Spivak.
My boy.
Oh, Rose Namajunas is fighting next week. I didn't know that. She's fighting Manon Fiorot next week in the co-main event. Holy
Ooh,
shit.
Good
I didn't know
luck, man. We were just talking about Rose, what happened with
Yeah.
Rose, check up with Rose, and how could we have that one slip by?
If Rose
she's
beats
fighting
Manon
Manon Fiorot.
Fiorot, she should
That's
be
not
next for a belt or something. Wait, hold on.
Dude, it's not
Rose,
happening. It's not happening.
who are we
Let's be
talking
honest.
about? Zhang Wei
We were
Li,
talking
but,
about Rose.
but Zhang Wei Li is the 115-pound champion, right? Yeah. So Rose is not going to fight Zhang Wei Li because Rose moved up to 125. This is a 125 fight, not 115. Right? So Rose moved out of the division where she was champion. She's now at 125 taking on Manon Fiorot, who's very
She's
good.
A beast.
Very good.
No, no,
I know.
very good.
Yeah.
She's,
And you got to
she's
figure
my.
there's a title shot on
she's
the
my
line
future
here,
champ.
right? It could
That's
be
it. Manon Fiorot.
like if Rose wins, she might be next for the winner of Grasso and Shevchenko. That fight's
Man,
happening at some point.
Fiorot is gonna walk through every one of these people, man.
Even Thug Rose.
Even Thug Rose. It's gonna be a bad night for Thug. That's how confident I was with Manon when I saw her fighting back in the days in. It was in France when I saw her fight, and I was like, "Who the hell is this girl? What? She's a vicious beast,
Yeah.
and she has great grappling. She reminds me of Ronda Rousey, but her striking game is like on par, man. This girl can drop gloves with even some guys. I'm telling you right now, Manon Fiorot will be the champion of that division. She is deadly, man. Like every time I hear her name, I'm like, oof, good luck to whoever's fighting her.
And Sergey Spivak and Cyril Gann next week in Paris, France.
That's gonna be crazy.
Cyril Gann right now, minus 180 the favorite, Spivak plus 155 the dog. I think that's good value on Cyril Gann. I'm very confident in Cyril in Paris. I think that he will win unless his mind is blown from the John Jones fight because that was his last one, and who knows how he recovers after that. That was pretty embarrassing.
It's hard to swallow, man.
Manon Fiorot, minus 210 the favorite, Rose Namajunas plus 170 the dog next week. So, yeah, interesting. AJ's got that one on the money as far as Vegas. We'll see. Big fight next weekend.
That's a lock, man.
But
That's a lock right there.
UFC 293 does not look great. Adesanya versus Strickland in the main event. Alex Volkov versus Tai Tuivasa. Kai France was supposed to fight on that card, but he's not now. He got hurt. It doesn't look like a great pay-per-view, but it's really...
Our
really
Montrealers on that fight.
It's really all about Adesanya and Strickland. I think that'll be fun. The press conference will be really fun. And yeah, John McDessie, John the Bull.
Yeah, John
Jamie
the Bull,
Malarkey
man.
on that crowd. So on that
I'm
card.
so happy to see him.
Shout out
while,
to John
man.
the Bull from Laval.
What a nice guy. I'm happy to see that he's still fighting. I can't believe it. Like, he hasn't. When was his last fight in the UFC? And he's 38 years old, man. Like,
Super chat.
Jesus. Last fight.
Yeah, right there. What are you talking about? Why are you saying last fight? It was against Nasrat
John-
Haqparast last September.
Was
About a
it,
year
man?
ago.
It seems like forever, man.
He's just been fighting in the UFC forever.
Yeah,
John
he's-
McDessie, 38 years old, has been fighting in the UFC since 2010, back at UFC 124. I remember his
incredible.
fight at UFC 129 where he knocked out Kyle Watson with that spinning back fist. It was amazing. In Toronto, crazy fight. Crazy knockout. One of the most beautiful spinning back fist knockouts you will ever see. I remember
He
it
beat
like it
Sam
was
Stout as
yesterday, and
well.
it was 2011. Yeah, he beat Sam Stout. That was a big win for him.
Jesus. Yeah, that was
He's
a
had
big
some
one,
big
man.
wins.
He
Ross
lost to
Pearson.
Donald Cerrone. I remember that fight. I was watching that.
Yes.
That was Cerrone, man, at his prime, man.
Man, I've seen all of McDessie's fights. I was at his first pro fight for XMMA back in the day. Like, I don't think McDessie's had a pro fight that I haven't seen, to be honest, because I've definitely seen all his UFC fights, and I was at most of his fights. I think maybe he had one fight before the UFC in Winnipeg that I wasn't at, but I'm looking at his first fight, like XMMA, It's Crow Time, 2008. I was definitely there. XMMA 6, House of Pain, 2008,
Oh my
Montreal,
God.
I was there. XMMA 7,
Yeah.
2009, I was there. Ringside MMA, I was definitely Iraj Hadin. I remember that fight very well. 2009, I remember that. Brandon MacArthur, Ringside MMA, Mixed Fight League. Like, I was at all these fights against Bendy Casimir. I remember that one. That was his last fight before going into the UFC, and then he fought in the UFC in Montreal and Toronto a bunch of times. I was at a lot of those fights. Like, I've been watching John McDessie fight up close forever, forever.
What an amazing fighter. I mean, like, every time he fights, there's always some action, man. Like, the guy always delivers a good fight, win or lose, man. The guy is, and it's surprising. You always think that he hasn't fought in a long time, but he's fought at least once a year for like
Yeah.
the last.
Stays active.
Stays active, man.
Crazy he's
No.
been able to stay in the UFC for this long. Not a lot of guys stick in the UFC for that long. Anyways,
Well,
I want
he
to
did
give
a
a
lot
shout
of
out to
changes.
Angelo Contagonis. Angelo dropping a super chat. He says, great show, guys. Have a great weekend. Patrick C. Hamilton
thanks,
jumping
Angelo.
back with the super chat, the 777 to take the super chat lead. And then Angelo jumps back with another super chat and the one. We the ones emoji. We the ones. I acknowledge you, Angelo. Angelo, new super chat leader of the night. And I think that's where it will stand. Thank you guys for supporting the channel here tonight. Angelo, Patrick, Doug. Appreciate you guys super chatting, supporting the channel, being members, supporting the team, being cool guys all around. I'll be back here tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time with Johnny North right after SmackDown for Wrestling Uncensored here on the Ringside Report Network.